Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's just tell some stories tonight. You guys like those UFO shows that they have on TV, on cable TV or wherever? I'm sure Netflix and all those things have a bunch of UFO shit also. They're everywhere. These UFO shows are fucking everywhere. I've had a couple UFO sightings. One that was a legit UFO sighting, and I mean like unidentified flying object, where we didn't know what it was. I didn't see spacemen or anything, or little green aliens. I wish. That would be something to talk about. The other time was a false alarm, and it was really hilarious. I don't know if you guys have ever had any UFO experiences. If you do, feel free to comment below. I'd be fascinated to hear your crazy stories. Both times were with my brother. The first time is when we were younger. We were in our early 20s. This was in DC. In the summer times at Wilson High School, which is a popular high school in Northwest DC, they used to have a summer concert series in the field. It was this open field out back of the high school. And anybody could show up, and lots of people would. Hundreds of people, all ages, old, young, whatever, just free concert. Anybody could just walk up and check out the show. There used to be a bar walking distance from there called the Dancing Crab. So we would go there and drink some beers and eat some crabs and then go and check out the concerts. And the concerts would run all evening or all afternoon and into the early evening. And it was a family kind of thing. I don't know why they chose the high school, just an arbitrary location. I guess because they had a good field with a lot of parking, I don't know. So we're there and we're watching the concert, and DC has a weird thing where you don't see a lot of air traffic over DC. It's not like other cities. Like many cities I've lived in, you see airplanes. LA, oh my God. Anytime, day or night, you look up and you're in LA, you'll see 4 or 5 airplanes, contrails everywhere, helicopters on different levels. You see that shit all the time. DC is different because it's the nation's capital. There's a lot of sensitive, high-value targets there. White House, the Capitol building, Supreme Court, FBI building, all that shit is there. So they have no-fly zones. You may see military stuff flying over, but you don't see helicopters and media helicopters and private planes and rich people with their airplanes. You don't see none of that shit in DC. And this was long, long before drones. This was 1991, I guess, probably 91. 1990. So there was no such thing as drones. This shit hadn't been invented yet. And we're sitting there at the concert. Jason points up, he's like, check that out. And it was below the clouds by some good amount, but way the fuck up there. Way higher than the trees or anything like that. And it was just a metal object, just zipping around. It was kind of roundish, trash can lid, maybe bigger since it was so high up. And just zipping around real fast. We're just like, whoa, what the fuck? And to me and him, that was a verifiable UFO. We're like, UFOs, aliens, that's some crazy shit. Nobody else even noticed. They're all just looking at the music. The thing zipped off, and I'm pretty sure everybody missed it except for us. Just happened to be glancing up, and he got my attention. The other time that we thought we saw a UFO, it was a false alarm. But it was hilarious. It was a really crazy scene. And again, we were together, oddly enough, at another summer concert series, but this time it was in Santa Monica. And I must have been 25, 26, mid-20s. And Santa Monica, California, they had a big giant pier with rides, and I don't know if they have roller coasters, but they have all kinds of rides and shit at the end, carnival type rides. They got restaurants, a few decent restaurants, bars, that kind of stuff. And you can bring your family, spend a good part of your day there. The beach around there is packed full of stuff and whatever. It's a good time. I like Santa Monica. you could see pretty famous bands at the Santa Monica Pier summer concert series. I don't know if they still do it, maybe they do, but I used to go to that shit all the time. It was a good time. And they had this little bar that was a pizza place, but they served beer, and they had outdoor seating. And where they had the concerts and the stage was off to one side, and the pizza place was a little in the distance, but it was on the edge of that area. So even though it was behind the crowd, if you got a good spot outside at the pizza place, the music was so loud, it was actually perfect. And you could just sit there and get beers and have a bathroom. That's always important. But you got to get there early, because there's thousands and thousands of people show up. It gets standing room only when there's a big band. And they have national acts there, pop acts, reggae acts, rock and roll acts, bands, you know. It's about 7 o'clock or so, it's just getting dark. We're standing on the very end of the pier, the very end. You know, a little building, and you go around it, and there's just the end of the pier. There's no more, there's just the railing. And it's a good place to go smoke a joint. That's why we were back there. So we're back there puffing on a joint. There's people cruising around, but it's California, nobody's tripping really. You don't see a cop, you don't have to worry about nothing. Now I guess it's decriminalized and legal or whatever. Back then you'd still get arrested for it, but cops aren't going to waste their time. So we're smoking. And we see, because I'm sure everybody saw it, a burst of light, like a fireball, shoot off from the ground up into the air, going really fast. And it has like a little trail of fire behind it that stretches a pretty good distance. And this thing is just going forward, pushing, just zoom. And it's big. It's coming from a little bit north up the coast. Looked like maybe past Malibu, past Ventura, but up the coast, not too far. That's where it came from. And it just shot up in the air. And of course, we're just like, whoa, look at that. Well, right at that same time as we notice this thing shooting up in the air, we hear the weirdest sound I think I've ever heard. Have you ever heard hundreds and hundreds of people screaming in terror? Ah! Because they thought that it was an alien spaceship. Somebody was yelling out, it's an invasion, it's an invasion. We creep around the building because we're stoned as fuck. We're smoking a joint back there. And the visuals were insane. Everyone on the pier, the whole pier, full of families, kids, old people, young people, everyone was going berserk, running around, bumping into each other, trying to get off the pier. And they're screaming, ah, it's an invasion, it's an invasion. We're just sitting back like, what the fuck? There's this little old man. He looked like he was in his late 70s, early 80s, old guy, little tiny guy. And he's wearing one of those military, World War II military hats. My grandfather has one of them same hats. A lot of them guys have them. Korean War guys have them. And he's just standing there, calm as fuck, smoking a cigarette, just leaning on the fucking pier, on the railing, completely calm. And everybody else is screaming, ah, running, but falling down, cutting themselves, scraping themselves up, picking their kids up and running into each other. It was insane. So me and my brother go and stand next to this old guy. Just seemed like the place to be. The ones, I'm not running out into the middle of that shit. I was too stoned for that. Are you kidding? We still don't really know what's going on. And there's this thing, this fireball, shooting up, just aggressively shooting up into space. The old guy, he says to us, everybody's stupid. It's a missile launch from the military base up the coast. They talked about it in the news. I come here and watch these things when they have them. This is a ballistic missile. It's testing something, whatever. He described it. And he's like, they talked about it in the news. Everybody here could have watched the news. He says, you know, the same thing happened last time. He's like, I came here 4 or 5 months ago. They did one. It was the same shit. He's like, everybody is so stupid. And we just sat there and laughed. And the next day, they talked about it in the paper. And that motherfucker was exactly right. Wasn't any UFO. Everybody's stupid. Thanks for watching.